Within 6 minutes, she went to the moon. It was unbelievable. Laughing and crying. I was like, I've been doing this for 3.5 years, and that's happened like once.
What's up, party people? Alex Gallner here, and I've got a treat for the Journal Party family today. On the call with me is Mr. Spiro Stam. Is it Stam? How do you say the last name?
Stamboulis.
Stambulis?
Stamboulis. It's
Stambulis.
not
What
an
is that,
easy
Greek?
one. It's Greek. It's
Awesome.
very Greek.
Awesome. Spiro and I actually go ways back. Spiro and I actually worked together on a Hollywood production that will not be named in this call. But it was a really enlightening experience for me in that I think I discovered I'm not really trying to produce movies. But anyway, in this adventure of trying to bring journaling to the masses, we get exposed to a lot of, I would say, journaling adjacent spaces in terms of health and wellness and spirituality and personal growth. And in that, I start to pay attention. I'm looking around, I'm seeing what everyone's doing. And I noticed that I think probably through Facebook, I just started seeing Spiro popping up. And in addition to the film stuff, which he's still very much involved in, I noticed that he was running some interesting spirituality and personal growth type things, particularly breath work. And I was thinking to myself, we're always trying to find ways to make this process more enjoyable, more effective. And I just thought it would be amazing if we could get him on here to enlighten us a little bit about the practice of breath work and how it might be applied to journaling. And so I reached out. We had a really awesome reconnect, and he's been so kind to come on here. And he's going to share with us a little bit more about this practice and how we can apply it to the practice of journaling. So, Spiro, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, catch us up?
So my name is Spiro Stamboulis. I am a breathwork facilitator. I also am in the entertainment industry. As Alex said, I have been in it a long time in the entertainment industry, but one of the things that really drew me to breathwork and just working on who we are as individuals is that being in the entertainment industry, it can be a very toxic industry. And I started working on my personal self over a decade ago. And I was journaling and working on trying to figure out manifestation and things like that. And about 5 years ago, a friend of mine introduced me to breath work, and I started doing breath work. And there were a couple different instructors that I was taking courses with, and I found that the breath work really helped me as an individual to be able to focus more on journaling and focus more on meditation. Because a lot of the challenges that I had because I had ADD is that my mind was just racing constantly, and I found it challenging to stay focused. The breath work helped with that. I've been instructing for 2 years now. I love it. I love being of service. I love being able to give people the tools and the instruments to better themselves. Journaling is something for me personally that is incredibly powerful. It helps with your intention, your goals, things that you want to achieve as a person, but it also helps process everyday life. I think a combination of breath work and journaling is a great marriage.
Really, it's only
Yeah.
popped up on my radar, and so I'm super excited to learn from you because I've really just scratched the surface, and the deeper I dig, the more I'm like, "Oh, yeah, we need to incorporate these practices." But for the uninitiated, can you share your version of what breath
Sure,
work is
sure,
to
sure,
you and
sure.
where it comes from?
So breath work, it's thousands of years old. When yoga started, the pranayama, it's been around for centuries, literally centuries. In the 60s, it started to take a little bit of a surge with some of the psychedelic work that people were doing, because breath work can also, if you get deep enough and if it's done correctly, can release DMT that is produced in the body, and it can create a very visual message coming into you.
You can
Oh,
release
yes,
DMT through breath work? Oh,
absolutely.
man, someone tell all these people
120%.
booking flights to Peru.
And it's more powerful than some of the plant medicines that are
Interesting.
out there because it comes from our body. The body can release those kind of euphoric things. But as far as breath work is an exercise or a technique in which you're changing your breathing pattern from what the normal state is. The big thing about breath work is it's something that's parasympathetic. So when we breathe in a normal state, most people, not everybody, but most people breathe into their chest. When someone says, take a deep breath, you go, unless you're a singer and you know how to breathe into your diaphragm,
I
which
was
is
gonna
how
say, I remember I'm getting flashbacks to drama in high school and when I used to take singing lessons and stuff, it's all diaphragm breathing.
and it's the same thing. If you look at a baby laying down in a crib, when they breathe, their belly swells up and then goes back down. Men and women are programmed to take shallow breathing. If you're in the military, the first thing they do is tell you to suck in your gut and puff
Tuck
out
your
your
chest.
chest. Women, they're always trying to cinch their waist. It's breathing. You're still alive and you're getting the oxygen that needs to come into your body, but you're not getting the benefits of deep diaphragmatic breathing. First and foremost, your gut produces serotonin in your body. Serotonin is what makes us happy. So if you're manually stimulating your diaphragm, which is right above your stomach, you literally are releasing serotonin in your body. Any kind of breathing practice is going to put you in a better state as far as being happy. That's just, you know, one of the benefits.
I used to have trouble, with understanding the concept of breathing out of your diaphragm, and actually, this was learning how to sing, and I had a friend who was
Yes.
an amazing singer, and she taught me this really cool way to just experience it automatically, the sensation of breathing through your diaphragm versus those big chesty breaths, or one of the things is if your shoulders are going up, that's probably you breathing into your chest, but
That's
the
actually a great sign that you're not breathing correctly.
and so I was like, "Okay, how do I know that I am?" And she said, "One of the ways you can do it automatically," she had me lie down on the floor, and she's like, "When you're lying down, it automatically happens. If you lie down on the ground, you'll see your stomach rising up and down. If you're like me and maybe had a little bit of trouble understanding, am I doing it right or what does that look like? That's one of those cheat codes to experience it."
And a lot of people tend to want to do breath work sitting up. Now,
Mm,
again, I'm not saying you can't do breath work sitting up, but laying down on your back is much easier. First off, especially for anybody who's new into breath work, because you can literally put your hand on your belly and know if you're breathing into your, like you said, your
right.
shoulders aren't going up and your belly rises. As far as that kind of breath, there's a bunch of different techniques. I learned with two different people. I learned one, it was through the nose and exhale out of the mouth. And then one was through the mouth, exhale out of the mouth. There are people that will argue both sides. I say any kind of breath work you're doing will assist in journaling and will assist in further growth of who you are as a person. So no one technique that I can say is this one's better than this one. It's what works for you. A lot of people say that having breath work, say a 4-7-8, is very beneficial. And then some
Mhm.
people say it's better to continuously rotate the breath and not hold your breath because if someone scares you, what's the first thing you do? You pull back your breath and you
Mm,
hold it. So they say sometimes that doing breath work that is a hold can create certain traumas to arise. I don't know if I buy that or not. Everybody's got their own opinions. But as far as a 4-7-8, basically you get into a relaxed state. You can do this, of course, sitting up because some people feel better sitting up, but you basically just take 4 seconds where you're inhaling in your nose and it's you hold it for 7 seconds
percent.
and then
Okay.
you release for 8 seconds. A lot of people like, oh, I didn't inhale for 8 seconds, but you still have oxygen in your lungs.
Mhm.
And to be able to get it all out and then take new oxygen in is one of the huge benefits of what breath work can do. So that's one of the exercises. Now there's box breathing, which is similar to the 4-7-8, but it's basically you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, and then you release for 4 seconds. But the benefits of breath work, first off, it makes you happier. If you get nothing else out of breath work, you're going to finish and you're going to feel lighter. It does help reduce anxiety and stress. It helps increase energy. It helps create more focus. It boosts your immune system. It quiets the voices in your head, which a lot of times when people are doing meditation or journaling, they feel like they're doing it wrong. Breath work does help in quieting the ego or the frontal cortex of the brain, which is where, am I doing this right? Am I doing it wrong? Why do I hear, oh, what, I got to go get this thing here. I got to do that. It also increases your confidence. It helps with your self esteem. I think that it also really helps with having clarity and releasing negative thoughts. It's incredibly beneficial to combine it with journaling. One of the instructors that I studied with recommends journaling prior to doing a breath work and then journaling after. Because whenever you go into anything, you want to have intention of what your objectives are that you want to achieve. They also say that breath work helps with digestion, it helps with reducing pain. Sometimes there's fear stuck in the body. That's why I think journaling is so good because if you can actually get to a place to be able to write those things down, I think it's incredibly helpful.
It's fairly obvious that these 2 practices can go hand in hand, right? Would it make sense to have, like, a singular journaling breathwork routine, or are there different applications for the different types of breath where it would make sense to say, "Hey, I'm just feeling like I'm having brain fog," or everyone has days where you wake up and you're just, like, not there. How would you approach that? Would it make more sense to create something that's a standardized routine, or does it make more sense to have it more as like an a la carte? If this is happening, do this.
I think that no matter what you're doing, consistency is key. I don't care if it's journaling or meditation or breath work or going to the gym or yoga or anything. I do believe that there are probably certain situations where there are different structures that would work with it. But overall, I would say that having something that is a consistent, hey, I'm gonna journal for 10 minutes. I'm gonna do 5 minutes of breath before or 10 minutes of breath or whatever your life allows. One of the reasons it will be very effective is that it's almost like a free ride to your subconscious. When we journal or we meditate or we do anything, we're being influenced by things. If you look at your phone before you journal or you watch TV or whatever, you're sitting with outside things that have come in and how you perceive those things. I would say that in the morning is usually one of the better times to do breath work. A lot of times people are tired or they wake up and they're groggy and they haven't had their coffee or whatever. One of the things we were talking about is actually something that is already in your routine,
Right.
implementing it into that routine. And hey, every morning I wake up and I make a cup of coffee. If you make a cup of coffee, maybe before you do your cup of coffee, you do 5 minutes of breath work, have your coffee and journal. Breathwork gives you a burst of energy and it also helps with the creative juices because it's shutting down the noise, which is why I think it's more effective in the morning. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to ask about that. Probably the most common times to journal are either first thing in the morning, or late at night. In terms of what we teach with habit stacking, that's when people have like the most ingrained routines. And I know from a separate practice, I practice transcendental meditation. And one of the things
Mm.
that they tell you, you can do it before bed, but sometimes it's better to do it a little earlier in the evening because it really does energize you. And
And you can't go to
some
sleep.
people, yeah, some people have different experiences, but that's one of the bits of advice about that is if you do it too late and you're having trouble sleeping, maybe do it a little earlier. And so on that note, one of the practical applications I saw in merging breath work with the journaling would be to energize you. And that makes all the sense in the world in the morning. But is all breath work going to charge you up and amp you up like that? Or are there wind down routines as well? Or
So, from my experience, breath work that is more of, say, the 4-7-8, which is
Mhm.
the inhale, the hold, and the slow release, you're still getting energized, but it relaxes the body. Now, the reason I think most techniques of breath work do energize you is because you're taking a much larger breath than you would normally. You breathe in oxygen. That oxygen goes into your lungs, into your diaphragm, and then it goes into your bloodstream. You have more oxygen and blood flow in your body. It helps create blood flow. Any kind of breath work is going to give you a certain amount of energy. Certain ones will give you more. I would say when I do breath work, it's almost always in the morning. It's usually right when I get up
Mhm.
because the brain hasn't had a chance to catch up with the rest of the world. You don't want to go too late because, again, it does energize you. I'll share this story because I think it's a pretty pivotal story. I was supposed to go on a date with this girl, and this was 2.5 years ago. And we were supposed to go for a hike. And I realized that I had signed up for this breath work thing online that I really wanted to do. And so I said to her, I said, "Hey, I know we were going to meet at noon, but I have this breath work thing that I want to do. And it's at noon. Can we meet at say 1:30?" And she was like, "What kind of breath work thing? I heard some stuff." I said, "Okay, if you want to come over," I said, "we'll do the breath work and then we'll go for a hike after that." So the instructor is this guy, Curtis. He's talking about it. Basically, the first 15 minutes, he explains on the benefits of it and what may or may not happen and how to do it. And that if you're doing breath work, it can be a little challenging in the beginning. And so the gal that was with me, we started doing it. And within 10 seconds, she was like, "I can't do this. I'm going to pass out." And I was like, "No, no, you're going to be fine." Now he's instructing. And so I end up sitting up and I coach her. Now I've been doing it for 3 years. So I know exactly how to coach her. And she's, "Oh no, my head, I'm doing it wrong." Just stop thinking, just do it. And I kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And within 6 minutes, she went to the moon. When she went to the moon,
Breakthrough.
it was unbelievable, laughing and crying, and I was like, "I've been doing this for 3.5 years, and that's happened, like, once, and your first time." So afterwards, we went for the hike, and she was like, "Oh my god, you need to do that. You helped me. You I have all this energy and these thoughts, and, oh my god, you have to do it." And so I ended up calling the instructor, and I said, "Hey, I know that you had 40 people on your Zoom, but did you happen to see me?" And he goes, "I did." He goes, "How do you feel?" And I said, "What do you mean, how do I feel?" And he goes, "How do you feel after you helped her?" And I said, "I may have gotten more out of helping her than I get from doing breath work myself." And he goes, "That's why I do it." And I go, "She was telling me that I should teach it." And he goes, "You think?" He goes, "I've been waiting for a year for you to call me so you could instruct." It goes along with everything that you're preaching, so to speak, on my social media and my content that I'm creating, because journaling, breath work, meditation, that stuff all goes together. Can you do them individually? Absolutely. But if you start to do them together, I think it makes each one more effective and more powerful. And again, I think what you're doing, man, you're making the world a better place. You're helping people use tools that you're providing to achieve whatever it is that they want. And that's at the end of the day makes the world go round and makes the world a better place.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that because the sweat equity in it is deep. The other thing I wanted to ask about the woman that you were coaching, one of the things that kind of made me think of was the expectation of it because Hollywood, Hollywood guys, right? Like we
Yep.
know that it's like sometimes in the name of storytelling or whatever, you can either glamorize certain things or make them build them up to have a certain set of expectations that come along with them.
As far as breath work, one of the first things that I say is come in with no expectations. Have intentions of what you would like to achieve, because intentions, you're not going to be let down. If you have expectations, I will guarantee you're going to be let down one
Right.
way or another. It's just because you don't know what's going to happen. So if you go, "Oh, I want to trip balls and I want to see God and I want to do
Yeah.
this," you know what? You've already created the fact that it probably won't happen because
Yeah.
you're putting
It's a little
pressure.
self-fulfilling too.
So I always tell people, I say, "Listen, you might laugh, you might cry, You might get visuals, you might trip balls. There's a chance of it. I always say to everybody, the only thing that I can say is almost a guarantee is if you stick through it for the time that you're supposed to do it. So if a breathwork session is 25 minutes, 20 minutes, even 10 minutes, but usually at about 15, 20 minutes is where some real magic happens because your body starts to release more serotonin. The worst thing that happens is you finish breath work, you have energy, and you're in a better mood. And again, I still tell people not to have expectations, but those are the only things that I know fast and true. I don't know anybody who has taken a class that I've either taught or that I've been a student in that hasn't said, I feel better than I did when I started.
And you know what? People can check that in our app because we got the trackers, right? That and
Cool.
just journaling about your experience too will give you another record and receipt of everything that's going on. And so,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a cool thing to have as well. Thank you, Spiro. This was super awesome. Exactly what I was looking for. A little bit of a primer for our primer pack that I think we're going to be releasing soon. And if you guys enjoyed this sort of thing, which I know you must have, let us know. Give us some love in the comments or write in. Let us know if you have any feedback at all, and we're trying to create some stuff to help you. Let us know what helps and what you could use some additional support in. And I know, Spiro, I know you're still operating primarily in the entertainment space, but maybe we can get you on the app. I'll drop your handle in there if some of the members want to
absolutely.
ask questions or anything like that. And we do a journal party live every Thursday, but I've been looking for other, ways we can come on and maybe do like live workshops and stuff like that. So if everybody digs it, let us know so that we know we're not going to be shouting into the abyss. But I think this is all super helpful, and I'm really eager to see if we can help some people get more out of their journals. Spiro, is there anything you'd like to plug or nothing?
Basically, my social media stuff, my
Yeah, where can we
Instagram.
follow?
So my Instagram is the real, like Thereal, Spiro Stamboulis. I was just Spiro Stamboulis, but I got hacked. So that's my Instagram handle. I do events. I go on there and I post it. It's usually once or twice a month. It's a donation based things because I want to be able to allow people that maybe don't have the financial means to still get the benefits. And I love to be of service. And I'm getting something out of helping people.
Awesome. Spiro, thank you so much for your time. I know everyone's going to love this, and welcome to the party. Appreciate you.
Awesome, man. Very excited. Thank you so much, Alex. I will
Yep.
catch up with you soon.
All right. Be good.
All
See
right.
ya.
Take care, man. Bye bye.
Hey, I hope everybody enjoyed that interview with Spiro as much as I did. Be on the lookout for more breathwork and journaling content from him. Also, if you'd like to snag a free 7-day trial to our guided journaling app, you can do that at try.journalparty.com. Or if you're feeling like journaling now, go ahead and hit that video right over there, and I'll lead you on a little guided journal jam sesh on the Journal Party podcast. Party on.